I had one of the backers say that they felt it was like a Saturday morning cartoon, which is great. That's exactly what I wanted it to be. So.
All depends on what era.
80s, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
80s Saturday morning cartoon.
It's just fun.
Yeah,
take yourself seriously, you know. And...
it doesn't. No, you can look into it if you like. There's messages in there, but it's not hitting people over the head with it. It's just you can go find it if you want. If not, ignore it. Just as a fun monsters beating the living pap out of each other and stuff. So there you go.
We're not talking about the latest issue of Hulk, folks.
No, unfortunately. Else I might still be buying it.
I remember those days. I'm just looking at that bad reflection there. Is that any better?
No, that's fine.
That's fine. Yep, great.
Yeah. Look at that. Adam Strange, is that?
Come on in, everybody. Let me see you out there.
It isn't Adam Strange, is it? But it looks like him.
Oh no, that's not Adam Strange.
No, it's the red suit. That's what jumps out at me. Yeah.
I don't think you'd get away with that. No, would you? That cover?
Oh no. This was blasphemous. Horribly blasphemous back in the day. Come on in, folks. I don't know why.
I think you would get away with it now because Christianity isn't on top at the moment, is it?
That's true. Yeah.
You probably would get away with that now. It was this would have been. This would have been overlooked because obviously comics for kids,
right.
Whereas Life of Brian was not overlooked.
Yeah,
even though it's it's irony, it's comedy. I remember at the time I was only little and I was only young listening to the furore around the whole Life of Brian thing, and I thought, what a load of codswallop. You can believe what you want to believe. You can do whatever you want to do, but don't force other people to believe it. That's the bottom line.
Try not to use too many expletives in our first 8 minutes. Apparently, that's what the algo looks for. So.
I haven't sworn yet, have I?
I know. No.
Oh,
not at all.
Sorry,
not at all. It's all good.
I said yet, didn't I?
Come on in. Exactly. Come on in, folks. We see you out there. Happy to have you here. Leave site. What the heck? What the heck?
Can you imagine today getting a comic book for $1 with Harlan, Ellison, Larry Niven, and Frank Herbert in? Could you imagine that? Never mind whether it was illustrated or not. Could you imagine that?
Yeah,
because that would be incredible. And then you get to the next one, and you got Michael Moorcock. You can't lose, can you? All for $1.
I read those. What was the name of the Michael Moorcock books? Elric. Yeah, I read some of that. Yeah, I read several books of that when I was younger, and quite intense.
It's Pat Broderick of all people.
Really?
Right there, kicking out. Yep, kicking up, doing great stuff. Come on in, folks. We're not here to look at Pat Broderick today, though we might in some other future episode. We're here to look at the great Alex Nino. I've got 2 short stories that he did here in 2 issues of Unknown Worlds of Science Fiction. I have a couple of independent comics that he did over the years. One by Innovation, Dave Campetti's company, called Nightmare, and it is garishly colored as it looks on the cover. And another beautifully done black and white magazine that I found at Grand Rapids Con called God, the Dyslexic Dog. I always get that name in reverse. God, the Dyslexic Dog that we'll be able to look at. Exactly. We're glad you're here. We're glad we're here. We are awake, and it's time for Comics by Night, folks.
Awake. It's 10 o'clock for everybody out there in America land. It's 10 o'clock here, and I'm still.
It's 10 o'clock your time. Yeah.
I might fall asleep. I've been awake. Yeah. I've been awake since 4 o'clock.
So. Mate.
There we are. Here's the opening.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, with theory.
「 」 「」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 "
Everybody get to see that opening?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I think Russ yawned.
Yeah, I had a yawn. Yeah. It's that lovely. It comes on and it's all like, it's like, oh no, I'm about to fall asleep. It's like listening to radio hosts at night, chat radio at night.
We're going to run this too.
The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case chat radio comes after me for saying it's a little bit dull.
Right. Folks, we're going to take a look at the great Alex Nino. He did not do either of these covers. And just checking things here. Let me fix my Facebook. It's
I know
always
how to
broken.
fix Facebook.
Yeah.
Uninstall. If only we
think
could
I
do
haven't
that
thought
with
about
all
it.
Phones. With all phones.
There we go. Took it from only me to public. Come on in, folks. We see you out there. It's time for Comics by Night. We're going to look at the great works of Alex Nino. I have his Wikipedia handy in case we have questions. Let's take, this is Unknown Worlds of Science Fiction number 3. We can do that first. He has the front story in both of these books. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Gray Morrow, the great Gray Morrow. When you can see it, there we are.
Wow.
Blinking. Blimey.
Look at the detail on that.
Mm.
The great Gray Morrow. We're here to look at Alex's, though,
We'll get there soon.
after a couple of pages of Gene Colan.
I was about to say that's Gene Colan, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't quite in the front here. I thought it was.
What a wonderful book that is.
There's Frank Herbert's story done by George Perez and Klaus Janson
Wow.
in the way. And then looks like Vincent Alcazar.
Yeah.
It's also a great story. Anyway,
I was like, that is a lovely magazine.
few pages in, Unknown Worlds of Science Fiction, Jeff Jones as well. We can't concentrate on that story at all because I remember that in my youth rather fondly about how beautifully it was drawn.
I want that magazine.
Anyway, after this is Alex's work here. This is the great Alex Nino. Able to push and pull things with his inking, an amazing inking style. That little fish down there. So, front plate to the story. The Harlan Ellison story. Repent, Harlequin, cried the TikTok man.
The design on those pages is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. That's just bonkers.
This stuff just really opened up my eyes to the power of sequential art. And it's a easy read too, believe it or not. It may look like a convoluted, hard to follow composition, but the lettering guides your eye through it incredibly well.
Is that Constanza lettering? Not listed.
Not listed.
No, it's okay. It just looks like it, but then again,
But again, look in the background here where he knocks it down to just thin lines.
yeah, it's fantastic, isn't
I
it?
have to watch that shadow. I'm going to have to turn another light on here. That help at all?
That'll do you.
Yeah. I wonder if he drew under that box.
I don't
And
know.
when he got the artwork back, that was stuck on top of it. He thought, "Wow!"
Sorry for the reflections off of the board. I'm just going to pull it up here closer to the work.
That's it. That's it. That's
That's
it.
fine. Leave it.
Deal
That's
with it.
fine.
It's newsprint, black and white on newsprint, and sometimes with some gray tones. It gets a little difficult to spot. It's still back in the era of zip tone.
It's fantastic, isn't it? Look at that figure there on the left-hand page that was standing up. Look how far his feet are away from the trim.
Yeah, it runs right off of the page too.
Yeah.
The inking there is like you. Who were we talking about the other week?
Alcala.
No. The guy with the secret agent with the silly boots.
Which secret agent with silly boots, Durango?
The assassin with the silly boots. Who was that?
Not Al Williamson.
No.
Silly boots.
Silly boots. Come on, mate. We were on him for 3 weeks.
Alex
Simonson.
You're talking
Simonson. That's it. Think of Simonson. Simonson's inking.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The bloppiness of some of the ends of the lines.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And the way that I'm just talking about this figure, but there are elements elsewhere, and the way that the crosshatch, not the crosshatching, but just all the detailing, it flows. It's very flowy, and that reminds me of Simonson.
Yeah, it looks to me like it's been done with a pen rather than a brush. I don't know.
Oh, I was going to say a lot of this looks brushwork to me.
Well,
it's like Alex Nino. He's moving the brush along and then pushing in and pulling out.
You know, it's difficult. It's really difficult to nail it down because every artist uses their brush and their pen in a completely different way.
Well, yeah.
It is tough. I mean, all that matters really is just how beautiful the lines are.
Yeah, you look at some of the line work here, and that's what it looks like to me. Like he's applying he's pushing and pulling that brush. He's got a long bristled brush, and he's just going right through.
But you can do that with pens as well.
Oh yeah.
That just makes me think of that page on the right is reminiscent of all the souls talking to Judge Death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. It's fantastic.
Yeah, this stuff come out during my high school days. It's very impressionable on me as a youth.
I can imagine.
And the TikTok man is like the guardian of time. He makes sure everybody comes in on time. And talks about how important it is, and they get into an argument about time and timeliness. Something scheduled is going on, or unscheduled is going on.
No, is he?
I like these stories when they take the watchers, aren't they? They're watching and they're discussing what's going on, rather than. Do you understand what I mean? Like in that Outer Limits, where those guys slow down that murder. Have you seen that in the original series? Have you seen that where they're observers? Anyway, sorry.
It's all right.
The outer Limits.
Yeah.
It might be. It's either Outer Limits or the Twilight Zone. I get mixed up, but they go to somebody has an argument and shoots someone, and they slow the bullet down and wonder what they're doing, and it's just really fantastic.
Or like Watcher stories.
Yeah.
And
they were sent as observers to observe this murder.
Yeah, it's run on time there.
Yeah,
2 different types of zip screen, and technically 3 if you count that up here. Same shade here. Some cross hatching there. Done by hand. Gradually.
It's good to see that those control panels that those guys are sitting at, don't seem to be influenced by anybody like Kirby or Wood or Steranko or something. No,
it makes that. Yeah, the technology is in the style of everything else. It's very organic, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not sure about the underlying lettering though. In that something unscheduled is going on.
Loving the balloons here though.
Yeah.
The balloons are all being done by hand here. They're very static.
Yeah. That was a good thing that was in what Dave Gibbons did in Watchmen, wasn't it? Do all the he didn't do round word balloons; he did jagged ones, and I think it works a lot better.
Well, he was working off a 9-panel grid with a very incredibly wordy story, so he had to make do with them balloons. We'll get into that starting next week.
Wait for that one.
Thought we'd do a couple solo episodes first.
Yeah,
we got.
that's crazy, isn't it? That's just mad.
There's a guy here going against the normal order of things. What it is.
That's
Like a jester type character.
Gwizzle skid. That's just bonkers. It's crazy, isn't it?
yeah.
Crazy.
Insanely confident.
You know, if you had that artwork on your wall and people came around, they'd think, "What the hell is going on?"
Drugs.
Yeah.
Again, fantastic animated look to it.
Yeah.
We'll get into that on the dyslexic dog comic. It's incredibly psychedelic, and it's got a lot of technology in it, but at the same time, he stays this cartoony all the way through. That girl.
Just bizarre.
Yeah.
I've never seen this before, so this is a treat for me.
I've never seen this. No.
It's adapted from the original story by Harlan Ellison.
I would love that magazine though,
Yeah.
because you just look at all the artwork in there.
All of the
All the
unknown
different-
worlds of
yeah.
science fictions are like this stuff. Yet they've never done a reprint or an omnibus of them. Probably because the rights would be so crazy to track down.
Yeah.
They did a lot of big name short story adaptions, as you can tell from the way they boast on the cover. Everything must be orderly, even though you're looking at chaos. The clock motif working here in the composition.
Oh, those faces on the right hand side there.
Yeah.
They remind me. Obviously, the styling is different, but just the volume, the design is Mike McMahon
Yeah.
or McMahon. I'm never sure
I
exactly.
could see that. Yeah.
I think it's McMahon.
McMahon.
But yeah, I can see what you mean. Yeah.
You see what I'm getting at? It's like
Yeah.
the real sort of contorted faces of average
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
that he did so well.
Yeah. His Judge Dredd was exceptional, wasn't it?
Wasn't it? It was just so wacky. And
Yeah.
I remember him doing ABC Warriors as well.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
there were lots of different people on ABC Warriors, and they all managed to make it look fabulous.
Same with Dredd, though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Their
it
own
just
their
goes
own
to-
individual style. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you that the IP or the character, whatever it is you want to call it, shines through. And any artist, it doesn't matter what their style, as long as their quality,
Mhm.
it just works. It just works.
Yeah.
And all the pretty much like 95% of the artists on 2000 AD were fabulous.
Yeah.
That's
And also different.
And also very different as well. That's something else that you weren't quite sure what you were going to get from one week to the next,
Yeah.
because you got that comic and it's like, oh, which artist am I going to get on Dread this week?
you just knew it was going to be great stuff.
Yeah. And you,
Well,
you weren't always convinced, because like you'd say, okay, well, I'm in a 3-part or 4-part story or whatever. You weren't even confident that you'd get the same artist in the story.
Mhm.
Because of obviously the way that schedules worked and stuff. So you were always sort of like, oh, what's happening now? I used to love getting that every week.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It was the exact opposite of what Marvel did when Kirby
Yeah.
left, wasn't it? When they got Joe Sinnott to ink Thor and the FF, didn't they? Eventually,
Yeah.
to get that look, that Marvel
The consistency. Yeah. And that Marvel look. And it's bizarre because you loved both. I
Oh,
loved
yeah.
the Marvel look. I loved those Marvel comics. I loved the way they felt, and yet you had this anarchy of, and it was very much a sort of an anarchic comic, 2000 AD.
Yeah.
And it was belligerent, and I loved it. And it was
brilliant,
just
wasn't it?
everything about it was fantastic, and it was
That-
such an adjunct to things like Marvel of the day. I mean, obviously, it wasn't the first time that comics had been that sort of belligerent. I mean, you can look back at all kinds of, EC and this kind of stuff and all kinds of fantasy stuff and see that it was there for those creators in 2000 AD to soak up. I have no doubt that many of the creators of 2000 AD have seen, if not this work, something similar to it in order to inspire them. But it was just, it was a great comic book.
Set comes everything feeds on itself, though.
Yeah.
And Mills, I consider Mills to be right up there with Bill Gaines as far as just being a talent magnet.
Yeah.
Going through and be able to find people with their own individual look and style. But for me, 2000 AD was just awesome, cool, and I never considered it as radical as it was, or the impact that it had on, especially over there.
You see, it's funny because that cover with the guy on being crucified, you'd get away with now, but a character like Judge Dredd, I don't know, you'd get much away with it now, because he's quite obviously a fascist.
Yeah, just a bit.
That's why I loved printing it in the newspaper.
It's great. Yeah, this
adventure
guy's
strip.
a fascist, and you're like you're on his side. Yeah, go Dredd. It's like you do know what you're supporting, it, don't you? But at least the trains run on time.
Exactly.
I think you'd get thrown out of certain organizations for cruelty. Anyway.
Oh, look at this.
Look at that. Look at that lovely smoke thing at the top.
This reminds me of something. I can't think what it is. Probably just more Nino.
Probably.
I think you're right, though. I think it does have a really, really strong 2000 AD vibe.
It does.
Yeah.
Lots of the artists. Yeah.
Wasn't this coming out at the same time? Late 70s, I guess.
Oh, this is
75?
75. Yep. 2
Yeah,
years
yeah.
before.
So just before 2000.
So those guys could well have got their hands on this kind of stuff.
And people like Ron Smith, and that.
Yeah. I was just about to say Ron Smith. Yeah, and you can see lots of different artists just in this one thing, and yet this is before them. So you can see it's almost like a starting point.
Yeah,
something that I've loved doing this series of videos that we do is, and maybe something I didn't quite appreciate before, is just how much cross-pollination there is.
Yeah.
Because you're aware of it yourself because you have the people that you like. It's like we did that last week, didn't we? We said what was our top 5, and everybody found it difficult because there are so many artists that you appreciate.
Yeah.
Then there are so many artists that affect you, and a lot of them you don't even realize they have affected you.
Yeah.
You've got your favorites, I suppose, and even then it's difficult to pick out a list of 5 favorites when there's so many greats out there. But who was you saying was doing Stalker? Was it Wally Wood was doing the inks on Stalker
over top of Ditko pencils?
Over the top of Ditko.
Yeah.
And I never realized that Stalker was the first comic that I ever had, that I ever held in my hand, that I ever copied out of when I was very, very, very young. And people have said that to me. They've said things on occasion have picked out names like Ditko and other people. And I've gone, what? What? There's no way that could have affected me. But of course, there's such a cross-pollination through other artists' work. Even if you don't directly get, affected by one artist, you might be affected by an artist who was affected by another artist.
Yeah.
That realization of how much cross-pollination there is specifically in comic book art has been a revelation for me. I've absolutely thoroughly enjoyed everything we've looked at.
It's one,
even when it hasn't been an artist that I've been particularly into.
All of comics history is one large chain. Every link, every link's built on the
and to feel like you're part of it.
Yeah,
if you look,
is wonderful.
if you look on that left-hand page, look at that. Look at the angle where they're walking up the bottom of the panel.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to have to steal that idea. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Look at that. How good is that?
We don't mean to ignore the chat this morning. Everybody's here. Vic do. It's 5 a.m. and I haven't slept from yesterday.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Vic.
Oh, Vic. Me too.
Is it bad that I don't know who he is? No, it's not.
It speaks very highly of you, Vic.
Randy have confused himself. Yeah. But there's a lot of these artists like this that have done work. If I ever abruptly stop chatting, I have fallen asleep. Vic says, yeah, Letterer doing what they're really meant to do. Yep. Perfect. That figure is like that certain type of shit used in a lot of Wildstorm panels. You see, again, everybody feeds off of everybody. Everybody's seen this. Back in the 70s, this was the Marvel black and white line were incredibly cutting edge compared to what the other comics of the day were doing. A combination of underground and Marvel mixed together, pretty much. Shot. This is beautifully illustrated. Yep. That's why we like looking at these people. I wonder what books is going to stick with 30, 40 years after night school. What?
High school.
High school. I thought it was 16 panel grid. Nope. This is very static material. Just came here to say hi, have fun. Hey, VD, have a great weekend, everyone. Marv, thank you. Take care.
Don't call him VD, Marv.
Yeah. Just call him Vic. Whatever that thing is on the left page is decrepit. Yep. Let's see here. Keep going.
Oh, he wasn't talking about our images, were he?
No,
that wasn't why we were up, was it?
If you know that, if you look at that guy,
we're out of camera right now. So
that guy on the bottom right on page 63, that face, it was very Cam Kennedy there, isn't there, Ross?
Yeah.
That was the other name I was trying to think of as well.
Yep.
Kennedy.
Cam Kennedy. Yeah, very Robo Hunter.
Yeah.
You can just see so many of them in this. This is just stellar. It really is. It's like it's like the font. Do you know what I mean? It's like the original source.
I'm most likely never going to be able to afford any issue of this. I'm not sure. You'd have to check up on eBay and see what they're selling. What folks? Toyo folks? HR? Is this pre-recorded or do they just hate me? We don't hate you, Vic. We're just staring at this great artwork. So Randy commonly forgets about the chat. LOL. Yeah, thanks, Levi. Nice to see you here. Lost in their love of the art and craft. Haha.
That's the one.
No, we're live. We're live on the Silverline Tuesday podcast this week. They talked about comics genealogy and Kirby DNA. Yeah. Same kind of thing here. Everybody feeds off everybody. Everybody looks at what's cool. Such a prime era in comics, just like 70s and 80s in general, art in general, entertainment art.
Just before you turn it over, just going back again to that left-hand page where they're walking up.
Mm-hmm.
See that the guy, the main shot of the guy, it looks like he's walking up, doesn't he?
Yeah. Here. He's bent. He's walking up the hill.
It looks like he's walking. I'm going to steal that. It's going to every page I do from now on.
I can't stop seeing Cam Kennedy now.
Yes. Yeah. And also, I was just thinking the girl on the other side from that face, the girl's face looks a bit like Ian Gibson, Halo Jones type of.
Yeah.
I can see that there too. Yeah.
It's all there, isn't it?
It's all there.
It's all there.
They were all looking.
They all got something from it.
And they were
all different, aren't they?
Because they're all different. Yeah.
Yeah.
All this stuff come out right in their impressionable, youth time period. So
I bet they did the same thing. I bet they all sat and thought, "What is this? I'm doing that."
Yeah.
Have you seen?
I'll have some of that.
This. Yeah, exactly. The difference in line weight there, just pulling your eye.
Oh God.
He does hair like Ian Gibson, doesn't he? On Halo Jones.
Yeah.
The girl's hair.
Yeah, there's a lot of that same cartoony feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. And knowing when to leave them open as well, like that bottom panel, leave the not doing a lot of blacks on there, all that. Yeah. And then the top left as well is left the illustration open. The first panel
for the letter
on the other page, the first panel on the other page. Yeah. Just left it open because it would have been just a blob, wouldn't it, if you'd have blacked it in?
Oh.
Wow, look at that. And that letter now will attend me 1500. No, wow. Oh God. Balmy.
Oh.
Do you know? I'll say it. Don't we show some good stuff on this program?
Yeah, we do. That's part of the fun of this show. Especially to folks like Vic who've never seen Alex Nino's work before. Or had never seen this stuff before. Alex did a number of different things over the years. We were talking about him off camera. Glenn seems to feel he's retired now.
Yeah, I think he just does commissions and conventions. I mean,
born May 1st, 1940.
Yeah, there you go. So he's 83 tomorrow.
Yeah,
in a couple of days.
There you are. Happy birthday, Alex.
Happy birthday to you.
Wikipedia page says he's a Filipino artist best known for his work for the American publishers DC Comics, Marvel, and Warren, and in Heavy Metal magazine.
Wow.
Wow.
This is really where he came to my attention, was that Unknown Worlds of Science Fiction.
So there's some real fantastic line weights going on in here.
Could you imagine this guy doing Judge Dredd?
Oh, yeah. He'd do a good job.
Yeah.
He'd do a great job.
Or Rogue Trooper.
I think
I can imagine him doing Only Death Can Save Us.
This is all cross-hatching here on the side of the face. That's all done by hand.
Don't they spend a lot of time, these Filipino guys like Alcala, on their inking and the shading?
It's built into them, I think.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
You go from super heavy, super outlined, to super thin, super detailed material, solids, just amazing stuff.
Wow.
There is more detail back here. I don't know if you can see it because the dot screen is so heavy on it. That's TikTok man has got detail all through his face here.
TikTok man.
TikTok man.
He looks like that far left hand panel where he says "Go after him." He reminded me just for a second of that galaxy being in Outer Limits who comes through the TV screen.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, or of course, it's my wife now, Dave.
Yeah,
we'll leave that there.
Yeah, it's my wife now.
It's my wife now, Dave. Yeah, how's that, Dave?
So we come to the end of the story. They finally capture the
get stuffed. I love that.
Harlequin.
That's so English. Get stuffed.
Get stuffed.
These pages are a little more sort of normal, aren't they?
Yeah, God, they've got.
It's coming towards the end of the story, and they've captured the Harlequin, so things are getting less static. You know, the anarchist here is captured and taken under, but in the end, it turns out that it's pointed out that I don't know how to tell you this, but you were here 3 minutes late. The schedule is a little bit off. Says this is ridiculous. Check your watch.
Get stuffed. I'm not interested. Get stuffed. That's brilliant. Wow.
Again,
I bet he had some fun doing this.
Zipped. Yeah. Looked at these pages quite a bit in my youth.
Yeah. They're wonderful, aren't they?
Then we're back to Gene Colan, but that's in Unknown Worlds of Science Fiction number 3, folks. If you're able to find that at a convention,
grab it.
Probably be lucky to find it in decent shape for $8 to $10.
Wow.
I would suggest you buy it. Yep, square bound. It's a nice collection of short stories, science fiction short stories. Then on to number 6. Cover featured Behold the Man, an awesome adaptation of the Nebula winning story by Michael Moorcock. Started out as a short story and got fleshed out into a novel. When they asked Moorcock to stretch it out, Moorcock took the story and took every sentence in every paragraph, turned every sentence into a paragraph until he came up to the proper word count and then turned it in.
That's the way to do it. Is that Gene Cogan
Well,
on the left?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Gene Colan on the left.
Look how bloody good that is.
There was
Sorry.
always a bookend section that usually centered around what they called slow glass
Right.
or black glass that captured different stories, and the people that went around to collect the different shards of glass or different panes of glass that were out there.
Every time I see something new from Colon, it just amazes me.
And the different stories they told, yeah.
Yeah.
And the opening story here is a bit of a wonderful blasphemous tale.
Just slightly.
Just slightly. Yeah.
Right, that
Wow.
that one you've got there with the crucifixion,
Uh-huh.
I can get on eBay for £17.33.
There you
Wow.
go.
That it doesn't mean that's what it's going to end up by the end, but it does say used, and it's just a shop. You can go buy it now. What was the other number you had?
Number 3.
Number 3.
Yep. It has a space scene.
I can't see that one because that's the one I'd like.
Wait until you watch this one.
Yeah, okay. Let's see what this one.
Let's watch this
I've got another one here for £9. I'm going to queue this up. I'm going to queue it up. It's in pretty good nick actually. It looks pretty much like yours.
Here we go.
Well read,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which I love. I'm
Yeah.
not in it for collecting. I'm in it for reading.
You're in it for collecting. You're not in it for reselling.
Yeah.
If
I'm in it for me.
if some of these things are going for 17 quid per, I'm going to start putting my collection out there. I think I can't eat it. I can't take it with me.
No.
I'm taking it with me.
Oh,
Come on.
yeah.
I'm just keeping it.
It might buy me another hotel room in New York.
Save it for the grandkids.
No, I don't have any grandkids, so I won't bother.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I sort of do, but that's another story.
I hear you.
I bought some.
Yeah, but
Behold the Man. It's a science
just
fiction
acquired them.
story about a religious scholar in the slight future who is tormented and bullied as a kid, who gets into some theological and philosophical discussions with his girlfriend. So there's Carl Jung is quoted quite a bit throughout the story. And he swears that Jesus never existed. And again, this is a lot more straightforward grid work here.
It's so I don't know. It just goes to show the time and how things have changed.
Yeah. Alex Nino, Can Kennedy, Mike, Mahan, yeah. Ian Gibson, yeah, this show is educating the Utes, yeah.
The Utes in it, mate.
This show is educating the Utes and the olds like myself, haha. Vic says that technique is beautiful, even if it messes with the eyes a bit. Yeah, so I may be able to afford one that's been elbow dropped.
Yeah.
Randy's going to be buried in a long box. Yep. Pretty much.
Well, I'm not going to leave my collection for somebody else to sell. I'm going to sell it.
Gets a little more static as we go along here on the story.
A Nazarene.
I'm pretty much doing what Randy's done. Like, just leave the collection as it is and just put sticky notes on the ones that I think are worth flogging.
Yeah, better look at the price of this one.
Yeah.
Mm.
Heck, every time you go up to eBay or Amazon anymore, it's just holy crap.
Well,
So
yeah,
maybe-
for you
Yeah.
crap. The amount of stuff you've bought, good God, man.
Somebody will be
I'm surprised
watching.
you're not a millionaire already.
I don't trade. I just
Yeah.
I do trade, but I don't do it to sell. I do it to
No.
enjoy because
Yeah.
I love this stuff. Live and breathe this stuff.
I just wish I had my original collection. That's all.
Oh,
Well, I don't have. I've only got about a sliver of what I have traded or
Wow.
given
Sorry,
out
I've
over
just
the years.
I'm in between drawing and looking and watching, and I've just come back and that looks like an Alcala page.
yeah, look
Yeah.
at the back. Yeah, I was thinking the background strokes behind.
Mm,
Yeah,
got a lot of work here.
yeah.
And line just
that could be
probably
straight
just
out-
quick. Got to fill
Yeah.
that space, and here we go.
Could be straight out of Savage Sword of Conan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But isn't that funny how you see that? Got to
That's-
fill this space because that's the look that I want, and
Got
the
that-
rest of us,
Got that too.
and the rest of us are in awe. Do you know what I mean? Like we're sitting
Yeah.
and look at that brushwork, and he's like, all I did was just fill it in. What are you talking about?
Yep.
Just makes it interesting.
Yeah, but a beautiful hair. Yeah.
Brush strokes in the hair there. Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
definitely-
go ahead.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
it's definitely something that you grow into.
Yeah.
Searching for your own style, searching for looking at things. I mean, we were talking about how long pages take. You were talking about it yesterday on Luke's show as well. And so far in my career, everything has been about speed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything has been about speed. And now I'm doing pages right now. For multiple reasons, it's not about speed, and I'm finding myself drawing differently.
Yes.
Simply because I have the time to do it. I think it's like who's the colorist on
The white on black lettering doesn't really work for me. That's very difficult to achieve, Vic, because you have to put a little bit more outline.
Sorry, I'm really crap at names.
Especially
Colorist
in
John Higgins. I was speaking to John here. Just a bit of a name drop here.
Okay.
I was talking to
colorist.
John Higgins, who's the colorist on
Watchmen.
Watchmen. Very he does done a lot of work. He's a fantastic artist in his own right. And there's several conversations that I use, but that I use to explain certain aspects because he was very illuminating. But one of the things he said is like, do your best work, Russ. Don't try not to be restricted by the time, and that's easy. He said himself that's easier said than done, because to make money you're on a schedule and all the rest of it. He said, but the stuff that you'll be most pleased with is the stuff that you give the most to, rather than what you've done within a time limit. And he's absolutely right. I mean, I've enjoyed the work I've done so far over the short career that I've had, and some of it has been extremely pleasing. I mean, some of the Only Death Can Save Us stuff, that style just happened to be a bit quicker. It was what I was looking to do. It was an itch I needed to scratch, but now I have different itches, as it were, and they're only going to be scratched by giving my art time rather than looking to complete it as quickly as possible so I can move on to the next project.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's all part of the challenge, isn't it? To get your best work in the deadline and find a way around it.
That's right. Yeah. You do as well as you can, do the best that you can within the parameters that are set for you, because you're making money out of this. This is a business. I mean, part of the thing I wanted to be when I was growing up was to be a comic book illustrator that got paid for being a comic book illustrator. That was part of it, is to feel, not to feel that you're worthy, because you should try and feel that whatever. You should try and feel that in lots of personal ways. But the idea that people are prepared to pay you for your work and publish it. All I ever wanted to do was draw pages. I didn't want to publish my own books or any of that kind of stuff. I just wanted to draw pages. And for people to say, here's your money for that page because you're worth it, because your work brings in people to look at it. And that was part of wanting to be a comic book illustrator. It wasn't just the passion for sequential art, the passion for the page, but also that passion to be a professional at it. It's integral into it. And so, you go through that whole process. And of course, that does come with shortcuts. It just does. From a professional sense, that you can do those shortcuts. You've become experienced and get stuff done and out on time. But also it does to some degree, if you're not a superstar artist, then you don't get given the time. I'm sure Alex Ross gets given as much time as he bloody wants, and he gets a big page rate as well, so he can take the time that he bloody well wants.
Right,
That's all well and good, and I love Alex Ross, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But in all the gigs and all the stuff that I've had to do so far, I've been on the clock, and I've had no choice but to use the shortcuts and use the experience that I've gained. But to be able to say, no, okay, now this project, I'm going to take whatever time it needs to get this project done, and it's going to be, I'm going to explore things that I can do, and coming all the way back around, looking at this work, looking at Alcala's work. Not to say that I'm going to try and copy it at all, but just to look at it and look at the depth, the amount of work on the page itself. It's like, it's inspiring. It's like, right, okay, let's go. Let's see what I can produce.
Yeah,
and that's why this whole set of what we do on a Friday morning is so important, not just to me, but I'm sure to lots of people who do watch it, is because you get to see the mass of talent, the giants that we're all standing on the shoulders of.
Exactly.
Yep.
That, and a lot of this work doesn't get the respect or the attention that it deserves.
No, not at all.
Because it was such haphazard work to start with. Everybody was fighting to get stuff in mostly on deadline.
Yeah.
That the appreciation of it just slips away. And stuff like material like this, that's going to be hard to reprint or hard to see again, really needs to get out there and shown. To me, this is ideal sequential art. This is storytelling.
It's gorgeous.
That's what I always wanted to do. That and karate instruction. Okay.
Well,
anyway, no.
As it happens. Well, it's karate, kung fu, judo, jiu-jitsu.
You'll be dynamite.
Look at the guy at the bottom cutting the toast. He's cutting the toast, isn't he?
He's cutting his toast. Yeah, there's no Marmite on that stuff.
Everyone admires and respects a karate master. I bet they do.
Your hands and feet have fantastic new power. Yeah. Well, all my power is in my slippers right at the moment.
Yeah. Love this face here.
Yeah.
And again, Nino just impresses me. These could almost be blobs of ink.
Yeah.
But they're not. It's a nose. It's a shadow. It's an eye. Just phenomenal stuff.
Look at that hand at the bottom where he's holding that cigarette where he hasn't drawn the fingers.
Yeah.
But they're there.
Yeah.
Like we were saying the other week, your eye fills a lot of stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
You probably forgot to put me in.
You probably forgot. Yeah, you probably hit the deadline and thought, "Sod it, I'm going to bed.
I'm done.
Nobody will know."
Off down the pub.
Somebody will make an excuse for me.
They weren't necessary to be there, so he made that artistic choice to leave them out. He's having the philosophical discussion with his girlfriend about the validity of God and whether Jesus actually existed.
No. Personally, I think they're two separate conversations, but there you go.
Yes.
The point of the story is that he teaches himself the original Hebrew, figures out how to go back in time, and goes back in time to meet Jesus.
Oh, damn. Right.
Yeah. Clever bloke.
Yeah.
Decides to go. That plant right there. So it's a one-way trip, and he knows it. So
what does he say? What does he say, Russ? My father was a Roman. A woman? No, a Roman. A Roman, and you wax him, and if it's correcting him. Sorry, Randy. Go ahead.
You're all right.
Reginald.
Who shall we release today? Why is everybody finding this funny? I don't find Bigger Thicker funny at all.
And two Romans when they're laughing.
They're like, oh dear.
Vic says, I don't do comics for price, hence why I got the most junked up copies I can, because I don't give a rat's ass how pristine it is.
Yeah. That's the point. Do they read? Can you read them?
Of course, lettering works all time for me, HR says. To each their own, man. Yeah, just being fast isn't good enough. Yeah. Vic says, yeah, I'm just a cocky little bastard. This helps me be a better artist, seeing these people who aren't given the same treatment as bigger artists. Help me draw from different places than other people my age. Absolutely. And that you should be drawing your references from different from different places. That's how you become unique. That's how your style gets unique.
And from life.
This is the most oddball story, like some real fanographic shit.
Underpin your skills from life.
Yeah.
And underpin your influences from everywhere else. Don't restrict yourself. Go look.
Getting into a little ink wash work here.
Well, don't know about, because I'm considering ink wash for our project.
You got to do it.
And I'm wondering how, because at the moment when I scan in artwork, I can scan it in and then I can go through a couple of stages in Photoshop.
Get your brush.
No. What I mean is I can scan it in and I can go through the process in Photoshop of making the blacks uber black. Okay, so that they print well. But that would destroy any wash.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to work out how to sort that out. Because if I were, you're right, Glenn. If I was to do a wash, it would be on the board. I wouldn't do it digitally. Well, it would be a proper. Proper wash.
Yeah, I said to you a few weeks ago. I mean, obviously you're going to do what you're going to do, but I'd love to see your pencil work with a wash on it. Get a really nice fine screen on it at the scan, grayscale, and I think it would be amazing. But that's just me.
One day I'll put it on the list.
In fact, what you should do really is just send me the boards and I'll put the wash on for you.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. I've got we should do that, yeah. We should do a short story or something. I've just, my list is growing.
Yeah, I hear you. I have a bucket list too, stuff I need to get to.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's what Russ was saying before about taking it from all artists, and I've only seen Alex Nino in Conan before. I've never seen this work before. But every time you turn around and you think you've seen it all, you see somebody else, don't you?
Yeah.
And you think, wow. And like we've said a few times as well about this stuff is high art to me.
Yeah.
This is just as valid as anything that anybody else has ever done.
Yeah.
It's just a different thing. It's just a different thing.
Totally agree.
And it's just amazing.
Back during these days, during the 70s like this, you couldn't depend on your washes to be printed through. You were taking a chance every time you ran it, because you didn't know how the camera was going to hit the artwork to start with, because you were turning in artwork blind, into whoever is shooting it. So, delicate grays like that are always risky. That's why a lot of these guys during this period use those zip screens, solid black, solid white, in order to achieve the gray tones, or got to do a lot of this cross hatching work, this thick, really thick shading line work through here.
Yeah. If we commit to color, to full on black and white, it's not really a problem, because you just
nowadays it's not.
No, you just scan it in and you leave the lines. You leave the lines on the page. You just leave it the way it is, almost like an artist book. Like an artist version or whatever it is.
I'll send you some. In TV21, there was a guy called Rab Hamilton. There was this strip called Agent 21. Right. I wrote about it in Super Spies. I'll send you some of the artwork, and that's pen and wash. And that was when TV21, as I've said before, was photogravure, which was on like magazine paper, really nice stock. So he got away with it, and I'll send it to you, and it's absolutely beautiful. I'll send it to you, Randy, as well. It's absolutely beautiful work, and I don't know what's happened to Rab Hamilton, if he's still around or not. The only thing I've ever seen him do was, 60 years ago in TV21. So,
have you looked him up lately? See if
there's I can't find anything about him.
Oh. And there's quite a few of those lost in time too.
Yeah, but it's beautiful. I'll send it to you. It's beautiful work, beautiful, and it's similar to this. It's very sort of loose. The line is very loose. Look at that. Look at that angle there, that middle panel. That's fantastic.
Lovely.
Get the balloon right over the guy's face.
Yeah, that's an early Spider-Man trick, wasn't it? When they had the Goblin, with it, always had a word balloon over his head, didn't they? So we didn't know who it was.
Yeah. Again, more ink wash work here.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Something else you guys could do as well on your cull thing. I was just thinking about this the other day. If you produced it in color, produce the artwork in color, because I'm always thinking that the color is going to go on the board, so it might not work. But if you produced it in color, and even if you only printed it in black and white grayscale, you'd still have a color edition later.
Oh yeah.
You see what I mean?
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Get a nice screen on it.
Yeah. And, trouble is, I'm not great with paints in the real world.
You're better off doing black and white line work, scanning it in, and then adding the.
Well, I was actually thinking, because I'm still not. Did you just as a quick side note? Did you get that post that I put on your wall? It's like a Frankenstein and Dracula.
Yeah.
That format's absolutely gorgeous. That's lovely, like a hardback with black and white in it on gloss paper. Oh,
yeah.
So that would be where I'd want to see us going eventually. But in the short term, you could, because of the way that the market is, we could do our black and white and then just literally have, like a la Mike Minola, just have flat colors.
Yeah.
Put flat colors on it. And then, go for, so like the two books will be 60 pages roughly each. And we'll do like 120, 130 page black and white artisan hardback edition.
Oof, that'd be something.
So the first two books we can put together, we can whack on. I don't mean it like that, but we can use flat color just to give it that sort of comic booky feel. And then we can put those out on their own. And then it's something different for people to have, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think you can whack on all you want. It's whacking off. That's the.
I'll be back next week. Please try the deal.
He ends up figuring out how to make the time travel work. Goes back in time.
Womans.
Looks like a rat, that guy, doesn't he? In the middle there, with his nose and his teeth.
Yeah.
I used to be a leper.
Well, sorry, but that he ends up going to Bethlehem and tracking down Jesus.
Oh no!
And Jesus is the person is the illegitimate child of Mary and isn't exactly functional.
Here's your proof about these comics. Look at that, what it says there.
Well,
any doubt as a congenital imbecile. You don't get that in a comic. Congenital imbecile.
Yeah. Go on, work. Go get yourself a dictionary and look those words up. That's what I used to do when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah.
Well, with this story, Moorcock had a word count he had to get to. So the longer the word, the better. So anyway, he finds the actual son of Mary to be retarded, imbecile, pretty much. So he decides he has to become Jesus.
Oh, here we go. That old chestnut. Time travel.
So with his advanced knowledge in psychology and other sciences, he pulls off the
He
miracle.
gives the Sermon on the Mount.
Yep.
He cured me, sir. Cured me without a by your leave. 20 denarii from our life story.
Walking on the sandbank or the sandbar makes him look like he's walking on water.
Oh, it's all a trick.
Yeah. Says betrayal in his argument in the wilderness is actually his memories with having the big discussions with his girlfriend up in time. It's Judas.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit Bidenish, that, isn't it?
Mm.
So he's sniffing his hair.
It's not a good idea, really, because if you look at the next panel, he says, I am the king of the Jews. I am the Messiah who has come to destroy your masters. So they're not going to say, right, all right.
Yeah.
Are they?
Nice to see.
Oh, you're not. He's a
Get to
very
know him.
naughty boy.
Yeah. Again, what a great moody panel here.
Yeah.
Being tormented with the crown of thorns.
That nose looks like a Barry Smith nose, doesn't it?
Mm.
You can see Barry Smith drawing that. Or Barry Windsor Smith, as he's known now.
Baz.
Bazza.
Baz.
He was pretty good. Oh, still is pretty good.
Yeah.
Ooh, looks a bit painful, doesn't it?
Oh,
But
yeah.
no
It's going to be
pain.
sore in the morning, isn't it?
Ooh, there's two in there, isn't there? Oh my god.
It's going to
Little
leave a
painful.
mark.
Wanted to make sure he stayed up there.
Oops.
But it was dull.
And again, you have this panel here where they're arguing
Yeah.
again with that. He's got such a defeated look on his face. And here, a few panels later, it's even tighter as
Yeah.
the argument gets more intense.
And it says there, where was Monica? And it says, she was at Randy's house.
Yeah.
Of
Look
course.
at that angle on that page there with Jesus on the cross with his hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's like brilliant.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
So, phew. I mean, some people just they can just draw. Do you know what I mean? They just come out and they pick that stuff out straight away. The rest of us mere mortals need practice.
We just cry in the corner, don't we?
But something I have noticed over the 15 years or 13 years I've been doing this full time is just how much more confidence I have with angles and with putting things down on paper. Stuff that, you know, even 5 years ago, I might have tried to do and go, oh, I'm going to give up and do another angle.
Yeah.
Now I'll come up with an angle that I think is, you know, dramatic or works, and I'll see it through, and I'm confident that I can do it now.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's only taken 13, 14 years, and that's 14 years on top of a lifetime of drawing, of course, just because I wasn't drawing comics prior to that. I was in production and what have you. I was still drawing. I was still doing stuff. So, you know, some people, they just pop out and they're just there. They can just do it. But, you know, the rest of us need practice. But it does go to show that if you just keep doing it, you can, you know, push yourself to greater heights. Not suggesting for 1 minute that I'm next to this guy, but the fact that you push yourself, you know, you're always pushing yourself to do better. and that you become more confident and start doing more. It's like the more confidence you gain, the more you challenge yourself.
Mhm.
Yep. That's it.
And as the story goes along, it gets more the more cinematic it gets, the more dramatic it becomes. I think this entire page is genius because he's showing off
Mm.
the confusion and the persecution that he's receiving, even if it's mental, from his girlfriend, while at the same time going through this crucifixion. It's just that the drama here is so much more tighter. Thus, the drawing is more tighter, except for the solemn, iconic imagery here of the crucifixion.
Yeah, and he's done it. You're right, and he's done it on the panel below where he's looking down. He's very thin line for the people below. Yeah, and more detail on Jesus or whoever it is on that cross.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic, isn't it? Oh, look at that!
God.
Look at that! Oh, wow! Oh, look at that! That's just
you keep looking at it and you keep thinking there's layers to this. This is fabulous.
Look at that.
It's what I'm saying.
Look at the bottom left panel where the people blend into that stroke, that thick alcala stroke.
And he's got the stroke going up on the second panel in. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Just beautiful.
And then again at the top page we see the detail on the soldiers, and he's in the distance as a thin line.
And again, look at, obviously you've got this beautiful progression in the bottom four, but look at the way he's using angles and zooming in and out. You mentioned this yesterday. Those is it the 12 panels that work?
Yeah.
And everybody should, you can use those panels. Just some people just have it in them. Do you know what I mean? They just automatically do the right thing. And look at the storytelling in this, and the zooming in, the zooming out.
And the lighting as well, where where the lighting's all on Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow. But the way it blends, I'll call them Alcala lines, you'll know what I mean.
Yeah.
The way it blends into those people.
Then on top of that, the whole design feel of the way that he's inking is just it's just stunning.
Yeah.
And also
the whole atmosphere that he has. Yeah.
If you look at the rope, it's the same shapes that the rope is falling on. So it's just as if you're zooming in. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not drawing a different rope. Wow. How good is that?
In that same book is stories by Jeff Jones. Bruce Jones.
Yeah.
Which you have to be careful about because some of those get a little that's Frank Brunner.
Woohoo! Look at that.
The Hoary Hosts of Hell.
Oh, wow. This is 2000 AD.
Yeah. That's real, what's he called? Ron Smith.
Visitation.
Ruben Yandok.
Wow, they point upwards. That's incredible.
They do.
Yes.
They're in there. There was a lot of gravity defying in these.
Yeah.
I remember a Star-Lord story that Carmine Infantino drew, not because they were realistic, but because they always pointed upwards, no matter what position the grows.
Impossible.
Exactly.
Blashoosh.
And again, we end with another colon page.
You can spot colon a mile off, can't you?
Can't you? Yeah.
It's just wonderful, isn't
and
it?
it paces the book really nicely as well.
Yeah.
Oh, Star-Lord. Original Star-Lord.
Same time as the original. Yeah.
Proper Star-Lord.
Proper Star-Lord.
I was so pleased I got that Star-Lord book.
Oh, Roger Daltrey.
I bet. Yeah.
Because the styles in there's lots of different styles in there.
Yeah.
It's wonderful stuff.
Yep.
Oh, I've seen that guy
Teaching
before.
yourself music.
I've seen him.
Yeah.
It's Neil Diamond, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to say John Davidson. I think.
For 10 quid, I might have to buy that.
I just thought of another Nino book that I have that might be a little hard to show here, but I've got a digest size book about this, the size of a Reader's Digest or the ash can books of Alex Nino adapting War of the Worlds.
Oh,
That is amazing as
I
well.
wonder why they didn't have him do the cover, because that cover's nowhere near as good as the interior.
no.
And I thought the cover was supposed to sell it. I mean, that would have been a better cover,
Perhaps
wouldn't
he
it?
didn't want to
By
do
Pat
colour.
Broderick. Yeah.
John Romita,
Covers
Yeah.
by Frank Brunner.
Dan Adkins. Wow.
Art directors.
Art directors.
Frank Brunner. Yeah.
Archie
Wolfman.
Goodwin, Marv Wolfman,
Yeah.
Altman. God.
It's like a
Roy
who's who
Thomas,
here.
editor.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a bloody superstar. Pat Broderick. God.
Back then, it was just guys working, you know.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's a superstar lineup. Good lord.
Where to next? We have 20 to 30 minutes, I think, maybe a little longer. What do you think? Shall we take on Conan?
Yeah, let's do it.
This is from volume 1, and I had been looking for an actual copy of the
I
book.
seriously, why can I not find that book?
It's a Savage Sword of Conan number 6, I believe.
No, the one you've got, the reprint you've got.
Oh, this one? I don't know. It's number
Oh.
1. It's from Dark Horse.
Dark
Reprints.
Horse.
Yeah. Reprints the first, I think, 12 or 15 Savage Swords. Cover by Boris. Savage Sword 10, the first 10 books.
There's Savage Sword of Conan 1 by IDW.
Nope, this is Savage Sword of Conan 1 by, I believe it was Dark Horse.
Oh,
Yeah, Dark Horse
Horse.
Books.
wow.
They had the
Oh, yeah,
Conan
but it's
license for quite a while.
55 quid.
How many?
£55.
Bloody
Yeah.
hell.
That's about $70.
Yeah. But
Oh,
it's
I'm
got
tempted though, I tell you.
it's got everybody in it. It's got Barry Windsor Smith's Red Nails adaptation.
How many sorry to do this. Quick flick, how many Barry Windsor Smith is in there?
Frost Giant's daughter. The first couple of Savage Tales illustrations or Conan's that he did. And then the first 10 Savage Swords are in here, but I don't think he did any of those. And I think these are black and whites of the regular Conan run, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's I mean you can see that he's kind of gotten into his he's got his mojo there.
Yeah. This is towards the end of his run.
Oh, maybe I won't
Comes-
get it then because he's not my
comes-
favorite artist, to be honest.
Well, and then look at this. Night of the Dark God, Gil Kane.
Gil, I was about to say, is that Gil Kane?
Not just Gil Kane, but Gil Kane, it looks like inked with either Giordano or Adams over top.
Yeah.
Neil Adams, Pablo Marcos, Vince Coletta ink.
Neil Adams over Gil Kane.
What a
Vince
contrast.
Coletta.
Oh, it's right there. Look at that. It's got some Coletta in here as well.
Yeah, but it's been rubbed out.
Look at that.
God, look at that.
That's that page. I was telling you that it's in that script where he's thinking about his past life. That's that kind of page.
Yeah, that's what I've got going on, mate.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got
That
something
face,
like that
that
happening,
face,
yeah.
that face on the right-hand page, it was like Odin. It looks very John Buscema, isn't it?
Yeah.
That nose and those eyes.
Well, that's Kane. That's a Kane nose right there. Cochran did a lot of that as well. That little up the nostrils. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that's not the Nino we've been looking.
No.
This is very Gil Kane.
Yeah.
Later on, it's John. I think is that John? No, it's Jim. Jim
That's
Starlin, Al Milgrom.
Yeah. That's Stalin, yeah.
It's got a lot of everybody in it. Anyway,
Yeah.
we really want to
Here
look
we
at.
go.
There's a little El Cal. It looks like.
Yeah. No, I may I
Nice.
think I may miss on this actually because I've got a lot of these where I bought a lot of the Savage Sword of Conan magazines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't find number 6 or number 8 anywhere, and that's where we want to go because that
Right.
has The People of the Dark, based
Ooh.
on The Dweller in the Dark, which is a unique Howard story that takes place in modern times, but has Conan in it. Through the guy ends up mentally sending himself back in time, I think. It's in the back of I'm pretty sure it was number 6 here.
There was a great one in Savage Sword of Conan where he went into the future.
Yeah.
He fell down a well, and he it was obviously a special well, and he fell down the well and he fell into the future, and he went to like 1970s New York, and this girl picked him up, and it was great.
I think that was a What If story.
Yeah, it was in the Savage Sword of Conan magazine.
I thought they did a What If like that. What if Conan was in modern times?
They probably reprinted it, didn't they? Just used it. So
they might have, yeah. But again, this has got some unique layouts and ink work to it.
Yeah, look at that ink work. Very broad.
It suddenly slips.
So I mean, we're talking about Alcala, but it's like if you take Alcala's and just make it thicker and broader.
Look at the side of look at the side of that face on the other page.
Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I love the way a lot of the panels are open and you can go into the next panel with it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't spoil it at all. It's not easily done, that I don't think.
A lot of that's guided by the letterer.
Yeah.
By your reading eye. Just runs right through it.
That'll be the placement by the editor, won't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, mostly the letterer and the editor's riding shotgun over everything. Little zip screen back here. Right there. Back up here. A little bit back here. That's ink wash, I think it looks like. Back in here.
That's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd love to see him doing those lines. What he's doing it with and how quickly, that big thick line. I'd love to see him do that. Oh wow! It's like Steranko and Ditko all mixed up, isn't it? All crazy layout. Look at that.
Very static.
That's fantastic. Imagine that if that was hand painted, it'd be brilliant. Look at that. It's fantastic.
This is all laid in by hand.
Yeah.
Line work here.
See, this is what I'm always on about with the computer thing. I'm not saying you couldn't do that on a computer, but I just think it's a great challenge and a great discipline to be able to do it with a brush or a pen or whatever you're doing it.
Definitely all here done by hand.
Yeah, I've definitely converted.
Techniques.
Definitely converted. I learned. I think what I did was I actually sped up learning by using the computer,
right?
Because I was pumping out pages, and starting to understand. So what I learned most was just literally just putting down panel upon panel upon panel, and understanding sequential storytelling. That was the most important thing, pumping that stuff out. And then I inked over the top because, on digitally, because first off, I was afraid. I was scared of brushes. And so I did a whole bunch of stuff where normally people learn with a brush and then go to digital because they find it quicker. Mine was the other way around. I was learning to do things in a digital environment and realizing that I wasn't getting quite what I wanted out of it. And that the only true way to do that was to get myself back out into the real world and use a brush, which I did. And I'm glad I've done it. I'm not saying that's right or that everyone should be that way. It was just a personal journey for me.
Yeah, you just learned for yourself, didn't you?
Yeah. And I just found English, do it. And I just found that the brush feel and the what you get from it just makes the page more vibrant.
Yeah.
That's just what I feel from it.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's plenty of people that are doing it digitally that are doing fantastic.
I think you've got
work.
to try and discover your confidence in the way that you pick up a brush for the first time or the first 100 times, and you're scared to death that you're going to spoil But you've got to. I think you've got to do it. I don't think you learn anything if it's safe all the time. It's like
No.
walking outside the front door. You know,
Yeah.
you can't walk with the kids everywhere. They're going to have to go
Yeah.
down that road on their own at some point.
No,
You've
you're
got to
absolutely
learn.
right. And so much of this work was just people just laying stuff down. Just
Yep.
like, I've got to get this done. I'm going to do it.
Mhm.
And to a degree, you've got to be the same way. Although, like I say, I'm hoping not to be forced into doing certain things because of scheduling. At the same time, you've got to be free. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be loose and just, get it down on the page. Eventually, what I hope to do is I hope to do more and more work in the real world. So my pencils become very, very loose, and that I'm confident enough to just say, right, I'm going to do this with a brush. And that, in essence, will effectively speed up the process as well.
Yeah.
Vic says people act like comics are this lower form of art. This is more important to me than these fine art painting that are treated like a divine creation. Fine art paintings, he meant. Color it on the computer. We've been doing it since Malibu was smart enough to try it. Funny. Michael in the house. Michael DeFonte. Hello, folks. Hello, Michael. Glad you could make it. Yeah, I got a 5,000 word essay. I'm going to play up every word I possibly could. Yeah. Got the same 6-panel grid system. Yeah. I find this dumb becomes in every possible way I find a theory such as this to be moronic treatment and a bastardization of the source material. What? Not sure what that's about. All I know is I haven't even scratched the surface of a level such as this. We all get intimidated by these folks. Vic, don't let it intimidate you too much. Everybody's learning. Vic, check the Filipino artist blows your head out. Yeah, we're looking at one right now. Used a C instead of a K. I'm going to lose it. Pat Broderick is actually going to be at my local con next month. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, he's still in this con circuit.
Yeah, he's still making books.
Yeah. How I know who Nino is, and I want to buy a bunch of his stuff. Oh, now I know. Yep.
Didn't Broderick just get a gig at Marvel again, or DC? I think
it was DC.
Yeah, I think they're starting to go find the older artists again.
Well, these guys have always been viable. The problem's been these stupid editors get up there and they think they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
and they don't know comics. Half of these editors up there have no idea what sequential art's about, let alone to be able to do their jobs,
Sugar's here.
It's really sad. Hey, Sugar. I went on a binge a few years ago and tracked down every one of these Dark Horse black and white reprints. And some of them were difficult to get then. They're probably worse now. Yeah. Yep, sure are. But every once in a while, you're at a con, you're at a show and you get this dealer that's got boxes of magazines that nobody's looking through. And you find some pretty unique and cool stuff in there.
I'll tell you what, volume 2
seems good.
That's only 45 quid. And that's full of JB.
Yeah. Kane, Adams, and Coletta all in one book. Yep. HR says don't like the Destroyer, Coletta. Yeah.
The Destroyer.
Have a weird relationship with Gil Kane. Well, that'd be really weird now since he's passed. But because the first of his work I ever saw was his Malibu Comics stuff, Edge. It was a sick book. Yeah. Not that we'll be going through some Kane here eventually because one of my favorite books that he did was Black Mark with Archie Goodwin, and that's an illustrated prose book about a barbarian in the future. It's pretty hot stuff. Coletta didn't care about comics. The only thing he did was money. There's actually some really good romance comics that Coletta did back in the 50s that you wouldn't even know it was him. The style on it is so good. It's more an opportunist than an artist. Yeah, he's got a bad rep in the market. He's not definitely my least favorite inker, personally. Anything he was on, I still look to this day and wince at some of those great Thor books that I think he massacred. Got to relearn Italy to be able to read those Italian comics in their original language. Yeah. Italia. Yeah, and an eraser to Vic. Yeah. Hopefully I didn't come at Hopefully I didn't come in at the end again. About the middle, Sugar.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. 10 minutes of Nino for your red dress. Yeah. Yeah, this one editor, I can't remember her name, literally bragged about not ever reading. Yeah. Yep. I know. That seems to be
Oh, how did you get into comics? I got into comics by watching X-Men on the TV, when I was younger.
yeah.
And it's like,
exactly.
no, that's not comics. That's not comics. That's an animated show.
That's cartoons about
It's cartoons. It's not comics.
There's
Look at
more.
that. Look
Boom.
at that. Wow.
That is absolutely bonkers, is it not?
It is. That is amazing.
It's so Conan.
Yeah.
Everything's there, right there. Look at that. Just amazing. Full war scene back here.
It makes me wonder when Barry Smith did that fantastic pin-up he did of Conan at the top of those bodies. You know, on that 22 panels where Wallywood says, "Don't draw when you can trace" and all that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me of that Conan. You know, it's what I mean. Barry Smith did a poster, and it's like that, and Conan's at the top, and I just wonder which one came first.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the way above the eye, the way on the left-hand page, where the way the black of the shading of the eye loses and goes into those horses, just to go all white.
Yeah.
How good is that?
Great.
What I was looking at was how the sword just becomes negative space.
Yeah,
Right there. Just brilliantly done.
that's fabulous, isn't it?
Just amazing.
I'll tell you what it does. When you see Kirby's pencils, when he's doing full pencils, if you look at the top of those pages, you see all that cross hatching on that black.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way that Jack draws it, because there's no such thing as black, is there? There's a lot of light in a shadow, and people like Joe Sinnott and Wally Wood do spot really good blacks, but they delete all that. But this guy and these Filipino guys like Alcala, they put all that stuff in. And I was just thinking, if you look at the bottom right-hand page, I'm not sure what it is, but it's like a sack or something on the bottom right, just above the lettering. There's like a spear. Yeah, what that box thing is there. Look at the way Look at the way he's done the shading, because it's not black. Because nothing's black. Mm-hmm. There's always a bit of light in there.
And the shading on the person's arm here. And
that's right. Yeah.
There,
yeah. That Alcala does the same thing.
He does,
yeah, he does.
He does, yeah. And it's just fantastic.
That's something that I'm emulating to a degree.
Yeah.
Is that whole not blacking everything in?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So so for instance, my Only Death Can Save Us style was very much sort of towards a Sinnott kind of
I can see that,
it's very much inspired by Sinnott. And now I'm moving over to, I want to fill the page with texture.
Well, you know what's happening to you, don't you, Russ? You're doing probably what Randy and I have already been through. You're getting into your own style. Yeah.
I mean, I felt like the way that I was drawing in Only Death was very much me, but I think at the same time I was channeling things that I loved. Do you know what I mean? So I wasn't intentionally trying to draw a certain way, but I was very much channeling things that I loved specifically about people like Sinnott. And I think now I'm kind of moving away and thinking, what else can I do?
Yeah.
How can I push myself? What
you're absorbing, aren't you?
Yeah, absorbing, exactly.
It will come through.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, that box thing down there, that guy's shadow that we just looked at, you could drop some great colour in there. Not the whole thing, but just in those lines, those white spaces. Yeah. But that's just me. But look at that. That's just wonderful, isn't it?
I've got an example of Nino in color here, and how easy it would be to massacre that kind of work if you don't know what you're doing. the garish look to it.
Wow.
It's just so bloody good.
Isn't it? Got a copy here of Nightmare.
Oh, that's
We might
just-
take some time to go over.
Yeah, just forget that one.
And it's nothing like this.
Look at this. Garrick.
I've definitely fallen back in love with black and white.
Oh,
it's-
yeah.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is something to aim for, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a benchmark. Yeah.
And back during these days when Savage Sword, the 70s, Marvel was doing the black and white books, it was a matter of necessity. You were working in black and white because that's what, those newsprint magazines were all about.
Yeah.
And very rarely would you see anything in color during that period. Warren used to boast a middle story in color on a lot of their stuff because it was just so expensive to do.
Just to underline what I said, if you look at that bottom panel on the right hand page of the face, look at his hair and look at it under his chin, the way that there's light in there. Whereas a Sinnet or a Wood that would be solid black.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and
it would.
And,
Yeah.
and it would look fantastic. But if you just look at the way he's left light in there, because there
It's just
always is
different.
light in there.
It's just a different way of approaching it, which is what makes comics so great, is that there's so many different ways of doing it.
And again, the panel succession here, the intensity.
And the way they use and the way he uses the open panels again with their arm.
Yeah.
Yep. Just enough of a line. Yeah.
I mean, you'd have been tempted, wouldn't you, to end the panel line on the shoulder?
Yeah.
Rather than carry it to fade out like it does.
Well, speaking of fade out, it's the thickness here to thin to thinner.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
And look at those lines under his
Multi-layered.
nose as well.
Yep.
On that drawing. That'd be
that
fantastic.
shape.
Yeah. It's wonderful. And the way that that girl on the left on the other page at the top, that one there, the way he's left the chin, there's no line, left the neck and the jaw open.
It's enough of a line there for you to see it right there, and it's a heavy line too, up to thin.
All right, I can't see that.
Washed right out.
Right
along the bottom there. I mean, there's a chin there. You can tell there's a chin there.
Yeah.
He didn't drop everything out. You can tell there's a division between the neck and the chin.
Yeah.
He didn't have to draw that whole line there. It wasn't needed. So it's an artistic choice to just drop it out. Nice.
It's fantastic, isn't it? Again, as I keep saying about the black, you can see the light in it, in that long, thin panel of the face.
A negative space here.
Yeah.
Just beautifully done. Reverse silhouette.
I was just thinking that it just crossed my mind that, people like Alex Nino should live forever. But then again, he will, won't he? Because they'll be looking at this in 300 years' time.
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah. Somebody will find it.
Look at that.
Just look at that.
It's the confidence in the line, isn't it?
Yeah, always. That's the thing that hits you most. I think, and this is not to sound arrogant in any way, but I think that for those people that don't draw, that they can simply be impressed by the work. But for those of us that do draw as well, there's you can see a confidence in a line. You can just see just how bloody good these people are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, black and white noir books is great that they print now. Much bad colors destroys the art. Yeah. Especially now, it's so easy to lean back on Photoshop, I think. Photoshop, when you do it on the computer screen to the printed page, can get so muddy so quick. So I'm tapping one bid. I bid you gentlemen. Oh, all right, Vic. Bid you gentlemen good night, day, or whatever the heck it is. I can't tell anyone. I'm so freaking tired. Go to bed, Vic. We're always archived over on the Indie Comics Network, so you can enjoy the rest of this episode when you're more able to look at it. It says, I love the black and white art. How it's now I've learned to do what I do. Yeah. All right, Vic. Take care, man. All don't know. I think we've got a few more pages here to go.
Wow, look at that sword. Serious piece of. And he's not drawn the fingers, look.
No, he's just let it go.
Yep.
But I think as well, there's something to be had from black and white where it's almost like color restricts you.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Because if you were drawing this and thinking, a colorist would have to do something with this, well, the colorist would feel like they'd have to put those fingers in.
Not just that, but the entire work would be so much more open.
Yeah. So, for instance, if it was flat color, it might look a bit weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd maybe get away with it. If it was any kind of coloring with any kind of graduation within it, then that hand would look odd if you didn't put the fingers in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you hand painted it, you could make a better job.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. But for the most part, having the knowledge that you don't have to have any kind of holding line for a colorist to use means that you can apply lighting effects. So, for instance, the open panel on the far right, where he's put his hand in his hair and he's looking down, and some of the lines of his chin are missing, and it just goes down to white.
Yeah.
What would a colorist do there?
Exactly. Yep.
That's right.
And that's not to say, that's not to put down colorists at all. It's just like, what would you do? Would you put a holding line to hold the text to finish the box off? Would you put a tint behind it? None of that would work as well as that black and white panel.
It's like that, some of that Captain Blood work that we were looking at that the great Claus Jansen colored even and didn't color incredibly well because it was open like that.
Yeah.
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 You know,
I'd fade that out.
Yeah. I probably would as well, but I think it looks better as black and white.
It certainly does. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That's my point. My point is it could be done okay, but I think that knowing that you don't have to put any kind of hold in for a colorist is allowing him to do those kinds of techniques.
I think he's obviously aware of that, isn't he? What he's doing there, he knows that it's not going to go anywhere near a colorist.
Yeah. And it
such
benefits
a well done,
from it.
Yeah, such a well done page on this. The sequentials on this is amazing, including the thin black.
Yeah,
to show he went unconscious. Yeah,
it's fabulous.
And then just a hand and the sword. You know,
in the Marvel in the 60s, they'd probably try and find some way of not paying him for that panel, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
yeah,
because there's nothing in it.
Do we have to pay you for that panel?
Hang him out the window.
All right, you're not
got paid by the whole page. That's why that panel's incredibly thin.
Yeah.
But like Eisner says, every panel's a beat in time. You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just look at that.
Oh, that cross action look. It's just fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, and when you oh my god. So I just opened up the page. That's Frazetta, isn't it? It's like the lighting on those stairs.
Yeah. The lighting on the whole thing, though. The light that's hitting down on Conan, the light on the harsh lighting here. Just amazing.
Just beautiful.
Incredible.
I held off doing this episode for so long because I wanted to find an actual copy of the magazine with the story in it, but it's working out okay like this.
Not to put you under pressure, Russ, but you've got a nice bit of drawing to do on Cull.
Yes, I know.
I got to get the rest of the script to him first.
Well, I'll give you a boost if it's anything like that snake drawing that you showed a few weeks ago.
Oh right, okay.
I think you've done it.
It is. Well, when we're off here, I'll show you a couple of pages of Doctor Who I'm doing at the moment, and you can see where I'm going. It's obviously not as full on because it's Doctor Who, so it's genre, but you can see where I'm going. So
okay. Rue, thanks for watching us today. As long as these comics are put somewhere people can see it and freely, it'll always be there to inspire later generations, generations of artists. I think you're going to see a large resurgence, especially in the Conan work, especially in the black and white work. If it gets reprinted or not, a lot of these books are going to become very sought after. A lot of the omnibuses that Marvel printed of Conan are getting more and more difficult to find and a lot higher in price, no matter what they are. Just Conan in general, I think you're going to see that social moray pendulum swing back to the hardcore masculine here pretty quick.
Well, we're betting on that.
Yes, we are. I think we're going to be right there.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Oh my God. Talk about a high benchmark. Good Lord.
This, by the way, is the backup story in the issue.
Just the backup story.
Yes, the backup story.
I'll just throw it together over a couple of hours.
But it's Nino. So, yeah.
I'd love to see him working.
Yeah, wouldn't you?
You know,
This the magic happens.
And he gets more subdued or more static, a lot more crazier when he gets over to Warren magazine. He did 1994 for years with these huge panoramic drawings of organic machinery that's just insane. There's some really crazy stuff there.
Again, that girl at the bottom. Sorry, Andy.
No, go ahead.
The girl at the bottom right is very Windsor Smith, isn't it? That nose. I wonder if that's a conscious thing.
I'll try to find some of that crazier work for a future episode.
Yeah.
Because a lot of this, like with the whole demand story, is very regimented. It's very, set panel. And here again, like with it's a little bit more static. And then the Repent Harlequin story is just crazy. There's panels running everywhere.
Oh, look at that girl's face on there.
Look at that hand and the sword.
Oh.
Yeah, that face
Amazing.
on the far right is a bit it's a bit off.
Yeah.
But that face where she's screaming on the left look at that.
Yeah.
And the way he looks like
sob.
He looks like he's been punched in the face, doesn't he? There with his chin going to the side.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is
wow.
And the way all those the way they're coming out of his hair.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is that on that big panel on the left? Is that his head and his hand is removed?
Here, where?
Yeah, going up. Is it his head? Just carry on.
Head back here. Yeah.
No.
All right here. No, he's got his neck is in a funny position.
Right.
No. I see what you're saying. Yeah, he's
chopped
his head and his hand
and his
both
hand,
of them.
Here.
He's chopped them off.
There. Yeah.
It's just
there's his
My
arm.
God, look at that. No wonder she's screaming.
He's a barbarian after all.
You get goop on my dress. Stop
savagery.
It makes you wonder why these people approach them. Forget it,
It's never going to work.
Look at that. And that hair in the middle as well, near her chin, on that back of that
swirl.
It's like a mane, isn't it?
Water, alcohol drip. Nice, fellas. Hojo in the house. Hojo, hope you're doing well. I love these tall column-like panels. Yeah. Just crazy stuff. You were here earlier, Hojo. We did Repent Harlequin Cried the TikTok Man, and that's got such static layouts to it. It's crazy. This is actually pretty tame compared to that story. It's just so incredibly done, though. Incredibly rendered.
Oh, yeah.
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
The bar is high.
The bar is bloody ridiculous.
In fact, you can't see the bar. It's that high.
Yeah, so far up.
It's somewhere around Jupiter.
The sun is in my eyes.
Oh dear, this is just wicked stuff, isn't it? And he's actually done look at that panel there where he's actually spotted all the blacks instead of doing his little breaks in the center of the page.
Yeah.
Can you see it
here?
I think that's it. That's where the skill comes. It's mixing it.
Yeah,
knowing where the black,
knowing when to do it. Yeah,
knowing when to do it. Yeah.
Well, there's no sense in showing that detail. What's important is the bodies in front of it. Yeah,
that's right. Wow. I'd love to see this original art on this.
Oh yeah,
wouldn't you?
Spend months looking at it.
fine line work here. Just crazy stuff. All by hand.
Look at that. It's beautiful. Not computer in sight. Beautiful.
Just a lot of negative photography here for the lettering and pasting.
Yeah, and and isn't the water coming down fast?
Here?
You know, that waterfall, moving, really moving. And there's only a few lines on it.
That's a thin
But
line.
notice the way he's got really fine lines
Yeah.
on that. Also, the way he's put his hand above his face there.
Yep.
None of that solid. It's all
No.
just beautiful line work, hatching. Well, we're probably going to run 2 hours on this episode. So we'll have to stop at the end of this story.
Look at that.
Some more. Look at that.
Tamara.
Just again, this shade tone or this graduated work here in cross hatching. Knowing how to go from light to thinner, thinner, thinner.
I tell you what you've just shown me there, that the tone going thinner, thinner. It's incredible because it goes obviously fades out, but the way he's done it, it reminds me of the color work of the guy who does the Yes covers.
Okay.
I can't remember his name. In the 70s, he did the Yes album covers. Not Chris Foss. I can't remember his name, but if you look at the Yes covers from the 70s, that the tone he's got there is like that guy's color work. Amazing.
I think it heralds back to a lot of Frazetta influence here, like the Nathandrol painting of them running at you through the fog. This kind of work. Only it's all in line work. You know,
Wasn't Blake? Was it
that same feel?
No,
to
it wasn't Blake.
No. I almost worked with Blake.
Wow.
Almost.
Do you have any Frank Bellamy stuff or Don Lawrence? I don't know. Let's see here. Right handy.
Back when we had the last big Marvel anniversary, Tim got in touch with Alonso, who was in charge at the time, Tim Quinn.
Yep.
And he was asking. He put this story together where all the heroes of the Silver and Bronze Age had turned up in London, and it was in the 60s.
Wow.
So we were going to do it in suit, like zoot suits, and everybody would have pork pie hats on, and the Beatles would have been in it and everything. And he'd already spoken to Blake about doing the covers for it.
Oh, wow.
But Alonso didn't want to know.
Yeah, Roger Dean.
Roger Dean, HR.
Oh, Dean, of course.
Roger
Thanks,
Dean. HR,
Yeah.
Roger Dean, that's the one.
HR, huff and stuff.
And HR, this is coming up probably after we do Watchmen.
Oh, look at that. Now you're talking.
So we've got that. I've got another one just
Good
like
old
that
Frank.
of Sidney Jordan as well,
Oh.
of his work. That's I couldn't resist. I found those at the last show, the Grand Rapids Con. I had to pick them up.
Well, the last London Con I went to 10 years ago, whenever it was, I was fortunate enough to see a couple of pages of Frank Bellamy original artwork. Oh, he wanted, the guy wanted 3,000 quid each.
Didn't a piece of Frank Bellamy just go for 4,800?
Well, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
But,
I would say that was cheap anymore.
Needless to say, I didn't come home with any of it.
No.
Yeah.
Much as I would like to. It was just beautiful. It was Thunderbird's work, it was just beautiful.
Oh, that would have been great. They had an Antiques Roadshow where somebody had found an actual Lady Penelope, and had her under glass and brought her into the roadshow, and the guy was just enamored by it and said, "You can't really put a price on this, but if I had to, I'd say about 10,000 pounds."
Oh.
That's gone up.
Is the actual puppet used on the show, or one of them?
Right.
When you sit and watch that program, there's like two things you say. First is, "Well, that's rubbish. I wouldn't keep that in my house," and the other one is, "Sell it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody comes up and says, "Well, this could be worth £35,000. Sell it."
Sell it.
all line
Oh,
work
look
here.
at that. Is that Leonard Nimoy?
Yeah.
Could almost be, yeah.
I am not Spock. I am Leonard Nimoy. I am a serious actor.
This is a zip screen here of circles
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
lovely.
there over top of Conan.
As you're going through time.
Oh, no, not again.
Yes. It's nice. Yeah, I'm going to have to go through and look that Bellamy book over because there's a couple of shots in there that I don't know how YouTube would take to. It is all art after
It's
all. So we might
art,
be able
isn't
to
it?
get
You
away
know
with
what I
it.
mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
but it's
can understand.
nipples, isn't it?
I can understand
Yeah.
why they wouldn't have serpiere allowed. I can understand that, but
It's the
Frank Bellamy-
Nipocalypse.
Nipocalypse.
It's the
Look at that
Nipocalypse.
left. Look at that gun there, bottom left hand. It's really Steranko hand, that isn't it? Bottom left, far
Yeah.
left. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Steranko.
This has
hand.
become far more blocky,
Yeah, it's changed,
hasn't
hasn't
it?
it?
It's changed.
He's back. He's back in modern. The guy is back in modern day here. He ends up getting attacked by a snake, I believe. Some sort of beast.
Yeah.
Snake. That's how those troops of monkeys tell you if there's a snake nearby. Wah, snake.
That has been paid.
Wow. Jeff Jones.
Jeff Jones. And again, that was Savage Sword of Conan 6. I had been looking for 8, but apparently there's the front story. Ernie Chua, maybe? Ernie Chan. Look at that.
Oh, Ernie Chan. I heard Buscema didn't like Ernie Chan.
Mm.
Or he didn't like his inks, not personally.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I got some of that stuff already. I've got that one. I've got that one in Savage Sword of Conan.
Yeah, I've got that.
Iron Moon or something.
Yeah, the Iron Moon.
The Iron Moon.
Yeah, I don't think Ernie Chan's as good on Buscema either.
It's funny because I mean, look at that. That's Alcala on the left there.
Right here, yeah.
A finer pen. Yeah, I've got that one as well.
John Buscema, the Tribe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's amazing how you can see Buscema.
Yeah.
In through the inks. There was somebody else. I can't remember who it was. Somebody else penciled a couple of Savage Sword of Conans, and it was so obvious that they were like they may have even traced some Buscema because it just looked like Buscema.
Well, they were doing that Hollywood thing, weren't they?
Yeah.
If you can't copy it, trace it.
Trace it. Yeah.
That's the issue there. The Sleeper Beneath the Sands. Sunny Trinidad. Script by Roy Thomas. That was the front story. Savage Sword of Conan 6.
Sunny Trinidad.
It is sunny there.
It's more of a superhero style, isn't it? Sunny Trinidad. That's
Yeah.
I think.
Mm.
Should be
Although
Spider-Man.
there's still a nice wash in there.
Yeah.
About a 24-page story, and then The People of the Dark.
People of
Nice.
the Dark. Yeah. What a great opening sequence of panels that is.
Yeah.
You think
That's-
I've got to look at this.
Again, that was the backup story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can he just do as a quick filler? Okay. Just the best art in the book. Wow.
There's a documentary about Jeffrey Jones. Haven't seen it. Have you seen that? No, I haven't. But I've
No.
got quite a few examples of Jones's work over the years.
Ernie Chan.
Ernie Chan, you mean? Yeah.
Yep.
Folks, we've been looking at the great work of Alex Nino, and if you look around, you can find him in all sorts of usually where you don't expect him. The showcase presents a House of Secrets and House of Mystery. Have got a number of his stories in it that we'll look at some other time real soon, as well as a number of other places. Nino had a long, very long career, still alive, though I believe he's retired. This was from Savage Sword of Conan, Volume 1 from Dark Horse. We also looked at Unknown Worlds of Science Fiction, number 6 and number 3. That's what we looked at. I had some examples here from an Innovation comic that I had gotten of Nino's work, but that was, it turns out, a little garish when you look at it in color.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
yeah.
But that's painted color.
Yeah, that's wash. I don't know.
It's too heavy, isn't
It's
it?
got to be computer here because the
Yeah.
color is too solid.
It's flat, is it?
Yeah, it's really flat.
That is in your
But
face,
again, you
isn't it?
get kind of a painted. Yeah, it's very, very harsh. But the artwork on it itself, underneath it, is really crazy.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
Fun to look at. That's in the dollar bin. And actually, Jason Moore was sitting next to me at the show, had found this, the God, the Dyslexic Dog. And then he went back and looked for more stuff and ended up finding that Nightmare book. The God, the Dyslexic Dog is in black and white. And that's got a lot of beautiful line work, very psychedelic stuff. Cosmic. Crazy.
Dude.
That's what we like looking at here on Comics by Night.
Oh, look at that. Oh,
Don't get involved. Don't do it. Don't open any more pages.
oh,
Okay.
look at that.
Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Just leave it there. So that's the work of Alex Nino, folks. You'd be amazed at what you would find. That's why I always encourage people to go to their local retailer and look through what they've got in them.
I'd argue there's some Kirby in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a lot of everybody there. So I see a lot of Steranko in that too.
Mm.
A lot of his influence there, especially with the solids here. Just beautifully done. This is a later work by Alex. This was 2000s here. Let me see what the 2004 was when this was printed. We won't go and show any more of that.
Wow.
Folks, really appreciate you stopping by today. Hope you enjoyed looking at some of this great Alex Nino artwork, and we'll do it again sometime soon. Starting next week, we will be going through Watchmen. No.
Oh.
Is that sounds like a chore to you, Glenn?
No. I'm just.
They're going to be rough.
No.
We've all got
Just
books,
takes my breath away.
stuff to show, and who knows how many episodes that's going to take.
Yeah, that's
But,
that's Who's Watching. Is that the noir version or the Who's Watching the Watchmen?
We'll do the noir version, absolutely. But I've
'Cause
got
that. That's a gorgeous book.
I've got a pre-production book as well that's got script and pencils and stuff in it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's Who's Watching the Watchmen or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got that one. It's a big yellow book, isn't it?
yes, it is.
Yeah, I got
Well,
that.
we'll just go through it issue at a time and
Yeah,
pull out different sources and take a look at it, and
absolutely fantastic stuff.
figure we'll have a nice time going over it. So no matter how many episodes or how long it takes.
Yeah, just it is what it is. This
HR
is just
says
fun.
fantastic stuff. It is. It's so much fun. Russ, tell folks how they can find you.
Oh, sorry, I'm in the middle of drawing.
Oh, sorry, I can go to
That's
Glenn if you
okay.
want.
No, that's fine. You can find me at russleach.com. You can find me in the pages of Hero Time Presents Batman across Europe currently. I'm currently drawing some Cybermen, so that's a treat. So you'll see me in Doctor Who magazine again pretty soon. You can pick up my book Only Death Can Save Us at my website. And soon it will, if things work out well for Fund My Comic, I'll be having the storefront over there for the book. And you can go see a piece of artwork from me every day on Instagram. That's either archived or brand new work. And if you want to see more, if you want to find out about more work that's coming up, because there is a fantastic book coming up that I'm thoroughly enjoying doing with Randy. You can sign up for my email list as well. All those links, all my social medias, everything you can find over at russleach.com.
Yep. Well, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook and all the usual, whatever they call media things. But you'll be able to get this printed, published by New Haven at the end of the month in Waterstones and on Amazon, which is my book about my visits to see Jack Kirby. If you want the DVD, you can still get that from me. It's not in the book, the new book. And then later on in the summer, you'll be able to get, finally, hopefully, Patch number 2, Patch What's Up, which is, again, published by New Haven. And you can also get me in the pages of Comics Unlimited, which is a 100-page magazine I put out every few months, which talks about comics. It has interviews, it has artwork and articles, 100 pages. You get that all on Amazon, along with the rest of my books. And you can see me on these podcasts, usually on 2 of Randy's shows and maybe a few others as well.
There we are. All right. And folks, I've been your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can catch me over at arrowcomics.store. For more of this stuff, we are archived over at the Indie Comics Network on YouTube, where you can find more editions, more episodes of Comics by Night, where we go over a lot of other folks, a lot of other great stuff. And there's so much more great stuff to show you. And like I said, starting next week, we'll start going through Watchmen. We'll see how long that takes us. And then after that, sky's the limit. If there's somebody out there that you want us to look over, definitely let us know. Frank Bellamy's coming up. I'm sure we'll see more of George Perez, more John Byrne on the way. We did, 3 episodes of John Byrne's Elsewhere. You can go up there and take a look at. If you go over to arrowcomics.store, though, right now, you can buy a copy of HeroBot Zero. That's a book I did. Primarily, the first issue is almost all me. It's the story of a 3-foot-tall giant robot who defends his city from large menaces as long as he can do it on the clock and get time and a half for overtime. You can find copies of Hybrids by Luke Stone over there. You can also find a copy of Calico, which is a fantasy book that I wrote and created with artwork by C. Michael Lanning. And C. Michael, we hope you get on your feet real soon. I know you're home from the hospital and know that you had us worried there for a while, and we're happy
you're feeling better,
that you're doing better. Also Paragon, which is a superhero story that I did that I'm very proud of, with the artwork by J.R. Harris. There's a second issue of HeroBot Zero that has a front story in here by Empyrean Vol, as well as a lot of other folks in there using my character. Most of it I wrote. And that's you go over to arrowcomics.store and take a look. Or right now, I also have a campaign that's running. That's about the first 30 days are about to close out on it. I think this weekend, called The Fool, and it's a very fun, I wouldn't say lighthearted, but it's an action-packed superhero story about a crazy urban vigilante who fights off street crime using practical joke weapons.
Dark comedy. How's that?
Dark comedy, maybe. Yeah. Here's the inside front cover in the first page. There, name of the story is Fool for the City. That's our main character there, standing on the side of a building. Anybody he ties up for the police, he takes a section of their clothing and then eventually incorporates it into his action duds.
Action duds.
That's it. And there's the cover for it. That's available now over on fundmycomic.com. Go over to fundmycomic.com. We're right there on the front page because we've had so many people come in and give tips. You tip on the site and they'll put your book there on the front page. So go over there and take a look. We're at 300 right now. I'm looking for a minimum of 500 just to try to cover the coloring expenses for the book and give us a little bit of profit besides. Looking forward to everybody seeing that book. Very proud of it. So go over there and take a look. We'll run a little bumper for it as we get out of here. We've been here over 2 hours. We deeply appreciate everybody in the chat. HR, Vic, Levi, hope you're doing okay. Great show. Levi, anytime you want to get podcasts ready, you are welcome to come on the air here and talk about this stuff along with us. Since you're up this early in the morning, you might as well just get a camera and a microphone, and I'll send you a StreamYard link. And
yeah, you're gone. You're good.
You would be more than welcome on here, and your insights are just as valuable as the rest of us. So it'd be great to have you here. Anybody else that wants to join in that's there in the chat that wants to comment live on this stuff, you're welcome to send me a line over at Facebook. You can always contact me over there. Michael says, I love this show. Michael, deeply appreciate you being here. And again, we're always archived over at the Indie Comics Network. This Sunday, we'll be back as Sunday Funnies, Sunday morning at 9 a.m. We're going to talk about this wonderful little comic rack and how we actually had to look for comics back in the old days and go on the wild quests that we had to do before there was the direct market. So they were all in these little spiral racks here that was so easy to take these books out of mint like that.
You think it was hard in the States?
Well, we'll talk about that on Sunday. Hopefully, if you can make it, we'll see everybody soon. Deeply appreciate you being here. Go and look at your local retailer. Dig through those magazine boxes or those boxes closest to the floor. There's probably stock in there that your local retailer would be happy to see walk out his door. So, great treasures to be found. A lot. There's gold in them there hills. So, go out there and take a look. Yeehaw. It's a brilliant quote. Anyway, caused a lot of pain. Long story. Folks, take care. Love you. Thanks for watching Comics by Night. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you on Sunday morning. He says as he stalls for time. Down. We'll see you soon, guys. Take care.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration.
It's never a charade.
Once again, this time, with theory.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
How dare you?
Get off my lawn.
Question or comment for us to address on the show? Have a topic you want us to talk about? Email us at indiecomicsnetwork@gmail.com. Want your comics to arrive in pristine condition? Head over to GeminiComicSupply.com and save 10% on your next Gemini mailer order or anything in the Gemini Comics Supply store. Use coupon code RAGIN10. That's RAGIN 10.
Arrow Comics is proud to present to you the fast-paced vigilante justice as only... what is this guy dressed as? This is the Fool. This is the Fool from Arrow Comics with great artwork by Chris Tyson, colors by Patrick Gamma, written and created by Randy Zimmerman. This guy runs around the city using practical joke weapons to fight crime, and the cops just want to get him off the street before he hurts somebody. You need to read this book. Available in its own individual campaign or part of Arrow Bundle number 2. Arrow Bundle number 1 is also available with the Fool campaign over at funmycomic.com. Check it out.
The cops are doing their job as long as they don't be mean to people who are actually being innocent. Then I'm all gravy, baby.